Okay, why don't we go ahead and get going? I'll remind everybody to please mute your phone if you're not speaking. Uh, and I guess I see Chris Mayer on, Dave Duncan's on. How about Maurice? I don't see Maurice on yet. Um, I see Ann. I see a couple of callers unidentified. Chris, I said you. Fred. Phil, yep. So I guess really the only board member, William, we're waiting for would be Maurice Slaughter. I've not heard from him.
Not that
Uh,
I haven't heard anything either.
okay. And this is really our final call before the board meeting next Monday.
Correct.
As we finish up today, we'll want to talk a little bit about the report to the board next Monday. But thanks for everyone who's attending. And William, what I thought we would do is go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the new business that came up last week, kind of bring everybody up to speed. We talked quite a bit last week about the volume of testing that's currently going on. I think what we've basically figured out is there's about 1,400 sales tests that had been done over a period from May until our last count. We said, I think, as a group that the volume right now is roughly about 350 tests a month. About half of that 700 or so that we had originally kind of saw as a litmus test and we're predicting. So right now, the volume of people going through the testing process is about half of what it was. I think we talked quite a bit as a group and felt like for the most part there were no complaints around the state. Nobody had heard any recent or negative feedback about the testing process. The Sterling location is going well, William, from what I understand.
Yes.
And that is continuing to progress. You talked a little bit about a potential location in Hampton. Um, did anything become of that as another testing location to where we could proctor maybe 10 tests at a time?
Yes, we have utilized that location. We utilized it Friday for a couple of sessions. So we do have a place that's located at the with IAA. They gave us permission to go ahead and schedule tests there. And started using it last week. I want to say 2 sessions were held there. But yes, we do have a place in Hampton that we are using. It's in Yorktown actually, but right there in Hampton, Newport News, Yorktown area that we're able to use. And we have carte blanche to use anytime we need to. The field rep and the manager of the facility will have a working arrangement where phone calls are made. She can book the facility and we can set it up from there.
So is the facility something the state owns or?
No, it's not. It's owned by IAA, which is a salvage company. They own it, but they have a conference room they said that we can use to hold about up to 10 people comfortably.
So are we just kind of utilizing it as we need it to cover that Hampton area, or are we going to come up with any kind of a defined schedule or just kind of go on demand?
Well, the schedule right now, we're trying to do it weekly. So we're working on some type of defined schedule. Yes.
Okay, so you're maybe coming up with a day a week you would utilize that facility?
We used it last week for Friday, but as Michelle, who's the field rep, as she works through with the dealerships down there, it may come to another day, but we can use it any day it's needed. So it depends on how many people need to be tested and the availability of the room. So if she got a call today, somebody needed for 8 tests, and she can get it tomorrow, she'll arrange it for tomorrow.
So really it's going to be on demand based on the demand that we think we have at the dealer board. We're going to utilize this facility in Yorktown, basically 10 slots at a time and kind of as is, right? I mean, just as whenever we need it.
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. We talked a little bit about the Manheim, Chris, the Manheim area. I don't see, is Alvin on this call? I think, Chris, you were going to try to catch up with Alvin and see if there was any other update on the Fredericksburg location.
I still don't have an update on that yet. I don't sense the urgency right now based on the information that's going around that we're going to need them. I'm sure that they would be willing to help host if we needed them.
Okay, so we view this as kind of a backup facility as we talked last time. But really the focus of our Northern Virginia coverage is the location out there in in Sterling, really. So, um, but I would think that we want to pursue at some level, maybe just kind of firm up something with I think it was Mannheim in
Mhm.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah, Mannheim, Fredericksburg Auto Auction. Craig Amelung is the general manager there.
Yeah, I don't know how you or anyone else on the call feels, but I think you might want to try to firm up something to have in our hip pocket. Um, because not only would that provide Fredericksburg support, maybe an overflow for the Richmond, north of Richmond area, and a little bit out to the west as well. So, um,
I will call Craig after we get off the call, and then I'll call William and give him an update on that.
okay, okay. William, I saw on the latest news that we now have, what is it, 5 or 6 approved vendors?
That's
6?
correct.
So we have Screening One, Accurate, Reliancy, Employment Screening, Partnership Screening, Nicole Group is the latest.
That's correct.
So we have 6 groups now. We got into a discussion as to, not spreading this too thin, not having too many different vendors approved for background screening. We kind of talked a little bit as a group. We really didn't come up with a number. Um, is there a gut feel you're having from your perspective, William, as to where this road ends? We've got 6 now. Are we thinking it's going to go to 7, 8, or 9, or what are we thinking?
Yes, to be fair, the people that we're looking at now are the ones who've been in the hopper for the last couple of weeks. So we don't think it's fair to cut them off. So we're not entertaining any new people right now. So we have 2 or 3 left in the hopper that we've been working with. And if they are approved, fine. If they're not approved, that's fine as well. So it looks like it should be no more than 8, 8 or 9 at the most, but that would be it.
And I assume that these 8 or 9 do a fairly good job representing the ones that a lot of the dealers were using prior to this announcement.
Basically, other than they're all vendors that the dealer were using before, except for the screening. Well, Screening One was also one they were using as well. So yes, most of them are.
Is there any major background check company that we don't have on our list that was being utilized before?
I have no idea. I wasn't aware of these people until this process started.
Okay. Okay. How about update on the email idea on the electronic process?
Okay, we from Vita, we received the email box. We do have that now. That's in place. We have a tentative process in place that we will use when we start using this process. It's going to require the dealerships to get the Virtu, that's VITRU, plugin app or plugins application to Google or Outlook to operate this particular software. It is necessary because the dealers will be transmitting personal identifying information on the applicant, either their social security number or their T number. So they must send it to us encrypted. So they have to get this software or to get this plugin to transmit it to us, and that way it can be done safely. Because right now, if they do it over the email, it's an unsecured submission, and we're not allowed to do that.
It's called Vitru, VITRU. Is that what?
That's correct.
And it's a no charge add-on like application to Outlook, or?
Yes, there's no charge to the dealers. Yes.
Okay.
We have to pay for it on the state side, but they don't have to pay for it on the dealership side.
Okay, so not being a strong computer guy, I mean, I don't know how this works. I assume it's just plug into the apps and.
Yeah, it's just a encryption software. It's an encryption application.
And somehow when you're sending an Outlook email that contains this data, you would tell it to encrypt it, or how does it?
Could you repeat that, Ron? I didn't hear.
Let her know. Just say, typically we're going to do that, before after hours or during your lunch or something.
If you guys would do me a favor and please use your phone, if you don't have the floor. So William, my question was, this is something obviously we'll have to give instruction to the dealers on how to use and how to, acquire it, I guess, for their email process. But I imagine it's some very simple box or something you would click while you're in Outlook or something, or sending an email.
Yeah, I think it's very simple, and we can help with that. We'll put something together.
Okay.
We'll work with the
And-
association to put something together. It's pretty simple.
And when would you really be in a position to move forward on this whole process? And really, I guess what we're really saying is this would be that separate email box, right? This is.
Yes.
Okay.
That email box will be used only for initial applicants who have done had their criminal background checks completed, and for transfer applicants who don't require a background check. So that's what we will use it for.
Okay.
And that will speed the process for both of them, for transfers and initials. The only problem we have right now is that we don't have people working. I don't have staff due to, not necessarily due to COVID itself, but COVID related. I have a couple people who have children in school, whose school systems were teaching virtually. They're not here. They can't be here. They won't be here for a couple of weeks at least. And I have a couple other people who are out for various reasons until the end of the year. There's nothing we can do about that, but we'll work around that. But I'm looking to start this process probably relatively soon, maybe as early as the board meeting next week.
Okay, so we'll come up with some catchy, meaningless email address on this box, right?
Oh, no, we have an email address. I want to say, and we'll give it to you officially, but I want to say is MVDB61. The application form itself is what we named it, pretty much to keep it simple. But yeah, we got something.
That's it. That's as catchy as you could
Let's
get.
keep it simple.
We may have to vote on that. I don't know about that. That may come up for vote. Any other old/new business we discussed last time that I forgot to go over?
Well, let me give you some stats from last week's, I guess, testing at the Sterling CSC, just so you have an idea. When it was all said and done, we submitted 30, I guess, 30 applicants, of which 2 of them were dealer operator tests that took 4 slots, which was fine. Both of them showed up. Otherwise, of the 30 people we sent out there, 25 people ended up testing. And of the 23 tested, and of the 23 that tested, 20 of them passed, 3 failed. This week, we submitted more names, a few more names than we did last week. And to my knowledge, so far, as of today, we already have about 13 to 15 people who've already requested testing for next week. So I don't know if we're ever going to get to the 45 level, but it seems to be getting better each week in terms of a response. The biggest thing we have to work through and deal with right now, though, is cancellations, people who did not show up. Because for DMV, that's huge, because those are 5 appointments that could have been used for their driver's license testing and other things that they're getting a lot of complaints about. So we got the dealerships need to, I can't put it on the dealerships per se, because if people don't show up, they don't show up, but we got to stress the importance of being there. If not being there, follow the directions and cancel the appointment appropriately so it can be given to somebody else.
Okay. Maybe that's something we send back out in an email or newsletter or something again, reminding everybody.
Because everybody should receive an email confirmation from DMV with their date and time of the testing. And I'm sure on that same letter, there should be some type of information what to do in case you need to cancel that appointment. So if they just adhere to that, we should be okay.
Okay. What, any other updates, William?
That's it for right now.
So on Monday, we're going to be reporting obviously to the dealer board, right?
Correct.
Okay. How about new business? Other things we need to talk about that are not part of the existing outline? Anybody have any input that they'd like us to discuss? So, William, when we present this to the dealer board next week, our thought is kind of to go through this in kind of the outline format we've built.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess as I was thinking about it too, and I'll ask this question to the group, what are the things that, if any, that we would like to have come up for discussion? Uh,
Well, I think we need to discuss what we've been going through the last 4 weeks. I also think we need to discuss the proposal put on the table by the VADA. I mean, that's something that needs to be talked about by the board, if anything, for informational purposes, but also that might be something going forward that the board might want to look at to see if it's something they want to do. If not, why, or maybe a potential law change down the road. I mean, it has a lot of options there. But I think it's something we need to discuss since the proposal was submitted by the organization for the board to consider.
yeah, I wrote that down under practice test concept and self-monitoring. I think that's one we need to discuss.
Mhm.
Um, I felt like I really didn't feel like we needed to discuss the fact that we had ruled out dealer locations as possible testing centers. I thought everybody would kind of agree on that.
Mhm.
I, I didn't really have anything of any significance other than that we were I'm looking at my notes to try to,
Ron, I think you already alluded to it earlier. I think the main thing here is that should something happen in the fall, like this pandemic gets any worse or gets mixed up with the flu season and things do get worse, and if DMV does have to shut down again, we have some type of skeleton in place now where we can put some type of plans in action to keep the testing going, at least where we didn't have it last time. Last time, when this pandemic struck, we were waiting for DMV to open because we were told each week that they would be opening the next week. And our thing here was simply, if they open it up next week, by the time we put a plan in place, DMV will be open, thus negating the plan. We got to a point where we heard it so often, we said, you know what, if they open, they're open. We need to move forth with something to provide some relief to the industry. So now we have a plan, options at least, that we can put in place if we need to. Once we get the auctions on board with some type of agreement and some type of time frame, so we know we can proctor test, we know we can go to a facility in Hampton. So we need to find some place now, like you said, at the different auctions. So if DMV is closed, we do have those things we can fall back on now and maybe have some type of once a week schedule or twice a week schedule to get the testing done. So I think through this whole process, some good options have presented themselves. And I think we'll be in a position to react a lot sooner than we did the first time.
and that being said, what we're really saying is that's if DMV closes and we lose that Sterling CSC, and Chris, this is probably why that follow-up discussion is important. We would end up with maybe Mannheim and Fredericksburg, potentially Odessa and Dulles. Did that door get shut on us, or that was still an open one, right? And then your location in Yorktown, obviously the Richmond location, right? And those are really the three or four locations we would know of if DMV was in fact to close again.
Correct.
And again, your field force just kind of going out where needed,
Right.
and doing some tests at dealerships.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Hey, Ron.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we didn't miss what I thought to be part of what we were doing here, and that was a portal for our staff to get through to submit applications and receive approvals and print out things. Where are we at on that, William?
So when you say a portal, there's really two separate things going on. This is salesperson licensing, and then there's the portal application thing, which is a separate group from this group. The closest thing we're getting to an intermediate portal is the email mailbox, what will allow more direct email communication within the dealer board to dealerships, and the discussions we had about responding quicker via that email process and providing status, et cetera, et cetera. But there's no real quote portal like an online portal other than the ability of dealers to go on.
That's a separate group that we put together, correct? Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to find out where those two came together. That's all.
Yeah, and I wish you hadn't brought that up because the compensation for that group is much greater than this group. So I know David Duncan's going to want to be a part of that. Yes, but Chris, that's a separate, the whole portal thing is a separate discussion on how we go online, truly online, with an application that will support the needs of the dealerships and dealer board.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. This email mailbox, Vitru and Vita and all this is an interim way to kind of make it a little bit quicker. Now, the assumption, and remember we talked about this in the last meeting, is the onus is on the dealerships to make sure they submit the information correctly, and the background information has been also submitted. The onus is on the dealerships now to make sure this gets done. And, we talked about that a little bit in our last meeting, but we need to make sure that gets through loud and clear too, that we really need the dealerships to submit completed packets, because again, if we're chasing our tail with a limited staff and the challenges we're dealing through this COVID SARS thing, everything continues to be complex. But, as William said, that's really our plan. If DMV closes it, William, that's about the best we can do. And Chris, if you can catch up with Alvin or the general manager at Fredericksburg, let's keep that one in our pocket too. And I think that the Odessa deal in Dulles was still on the table. I don't know what happened with the American auction in Tidewater. For some reason, I don't think that really moved forward. But anything else we have in our pocket would be helpful. And then again, we're, good or bad, we're blessed right now with the fact that the overall volume of sales applicants is a little bit less than normal. Other topics or points of discussion?
Got a question for William.
Yes, sir.
William, so it looks like on IntelliCorp, their objection was, is it the motor vehicle dealer board that needs to log into their portal and they got to create an account, or is it something on IntelliCorp's end that I'm just wondering why they didn't pursue being an approved vendor?
The whole process, Mr. Duncan, is that the background check provider will provide you, the dealership, with information about your applicant. In that process, They will provide you with a unique identifier assigned to that particular applicant. Our requirement was that we would be able to get that identifier from you on the application, the MVDB61, put that into the vendor's website, and come and pull the record that we're looking for, that you've identified.
All right.
So that's what the process was.
Let me ask you this. I'm just using our group because we use IntelliCorp, and we do it currently now. We do the background check. If we print it off and submit it with the application, would that suffice to your requirements or no?
No, sir.
Why?
Well, the main reason is because when we identified the process, this is a process that we wanted to go through. We don't receive copies from dealerships because that defeats the whole purpose. Paperwork, and then also, how do we know we're getting the entire report? So we want to be able to get the report, have access to it to see the entire report.
I get it, but if a dealership is doing it and they submit the paperwork with the applicant, in my view, the dealer's doing what they're supposed to do. I guess we'll just agree to disagree, but I'm going to contact the IntelliCorp people and find out on their end, but if they got to change vendors, it's fine. It's just, I thought we were trying to make, I'm trying to make this easier on our dealer body, but that's all right. I'll find out on their end and get back with you.
So,
That's all I got.
yeah, no, David, but so William is trying to make it easier on the dealer body. I thought we aren't we? I mean, by going through this pre-approval process with these background check providers and eliminating the need to send paperwork versus a reference code back to one of the background check providers, I thought that we are making it easier. Are we not, David?
I get it. I get what you, yeah, we are. I just, I guess I'm just a little sour at my provider that they're not going to cooperate. So I'm just trying to figure out, I'm going to contact them and see why they can't use, because you're right. They ought to just be able to use the unique ID that I provide them and log in and get what they need. So I got a better understanding now. So hopefully that'll help me when I contact them.
Okay.
I'm good.
We're really trying to eliminate as much paperwork as we can and go completely online and make sure it's accurate and complete. And this process enables us to do that and move closer to an electronic format.
I got it.
Really my view of it. Okay. Okay, anything else? William, anything?
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, anything else from any of the associations or staff? Okay. Well, then I'll be getting ready for the report to the board on Monday. Thank everybody. I want to thank everybody very much for their time. I've got a list of 2, 4, 6, 8, about 20 people that have contributed throughout this process. I want to thank you again for that. Again, appreciate everyone's help and I look forward to Monday. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.